fight on 75 seats. BJP, Congress set for mega showdown. The BJP and Congress headed for a straight fight on 75 of the 288 seats.
हम बहुत कोऑर्डिनेशन में काम कर रहे हैं. कुछ जगह पर अभी भी बागी है, लेकिन हमने ये तय कर लिया है कि जहां बागी है उनको पार्टी से निष्कासित किया जाएगा, पार्टी में रखा नहीं जाएगा.
The Saffron Party has fielded most of its candidates against Congress in Vidarbha, followed by Western Maharashtra, Northern Maharashtra, Marathwada and Konkan, including Mumbai and Thane. In 2019, the Congress and BJP were locked in a direct battle on 66 seats, of which it managed only 16, while the BJP got 50. Riding on Lok Sabha confidence, the Congress eyes a revival. Fresh off Haryana win, BJP hopes to leverage momentum. Battleground Maharashtra, an epic face-off.
Hello and welcome. You're watching To The Point. I'm Preeti Choudhry. Lots going on in Maharashtra, where it comes down now to the BJP versus Congress fight on 75 seats. Not just that, the latest also coming in, enough rebels, independents in the fray. What is it looking like at this point of time? Let's cut across to Rajdeep Sardesai, consulting editor, who'd be shortly dispatched off to his home state of Maharashtra to cover this election. Rajdeep, first up, the direct fights matter, especially between the BJP and the Congress, facing off on 75 seats. The importance and the implication of it, Rajdeep.
Preeti, it's huge. In a large state like Maharashtra, you have several battles within a battle. But there is no bigger battle than Congress versus BJP direct fights. Remember, a majority of these 75 face-to-face fights will come from Vidarbha. It has 62 seats. It was a traditional Congress bastion that was breached by the BJP first in 2014 when they won about 44 of the 62 seats. Came down to 29. But the BJP, with leaders like Devendra Fadnavis, will believe that they have to get back Vidarbha to be in pole position to come back to power. On the other hand, the Congress will hope that what happened in the Lok Sabha, where they did very well in Vidarbha, will be repeated. The so-called DMK, Dalit Muslim Kunbi factor. Vidarbha, I think, Preeti, along with Marathwada, are the two regions that could well decide not just which becomes the single largest party, but who forms the government in Maharashtra. And therefore, these direct fights, which traditionally the BJP in recent times has done very well in, will really test these two national parties. This is a bit like Haryana, where you had a direct fight. In Maharashtra, it's not all across the state, but more specifically in Vidarbha and a sprinkling in other regions.
Rajdeep, one is, of course, these direct battles, especially where the Congress and the BJP facing off, because if you look at it, 2019, of the 66 direct fights between the BJP and the Congress could only manage 16 wins. They're hoping that the Lok Sabha momentum changes that. However, the BJP is hoping that the Haryana momentum they can leverage. But on the other side, Rajdeep, what about the game of independents and rebels? That's all we have heard through the course of today. Now, date of taking back your nomination is over, and yet, still, there are enough rebels and independents in the fray.
Look, I think both of them in the last 24 hours have been desperately trying to get back to ensure that many of the rebels that they have withdraw. From what I can see at the moment, they've both been reasonably successful. Clearly, there are enough independents out there who will contest, rebels who will contest as independents, who can spoil the chances of the key players. But I think the rebel factor is much more in the Mumbai, Konkan belt, and afflicting not just these two main parties, but all parties. You're seeing it in the Shiv Sena, you're seeing it in the Uddhav Sena. I think Sharad Pawar, if I were to say, is the one leader who's been able to be most effective in neutralizing any rebel factor. All the other rebels, all the other parties have struggled to deal with rebels. But eventually, Preeti, because it's an election where 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 votes could make a difference, managing not just rebels but smaller parties could make a difference. In Vidarbha, for example, the Vanchit Bahujan Agadi of Prakash Ambedkar, if it picks up 5-6% of the vote, they got less than 1% in Lok Sabha, they can make a difference in these tightly contested seats. So I think it is not just about the rebels, but it's about managing the overall environment in Maharashtra that's important. It's not about Mahal. This is about management now.
Not so much about Mahal, but management and who manages this election better. Well, we'll soon find out. Thank you, Rajdeep, for joining us. We'll see you in Maharashtra. With that, let's cut across to our political panelists this evening. Tuhin Sinha, National Spokesperson, Bharatiya Janata Party. Matthew Anthony, Spokesperson, Congress. He'll be joining us shortly. Amitabh Tiwari, Election Analyst. Amitabh, coming to you first. 75 seats where the BJP squares off with the Congress. What, according to you, could be the implication and the importance of these 75 seats, keeping in mind, Amitabh, that in 2019 of the 66 seats the BJP facing off with the Congress could only manage 16?
Yeah, however, if you see the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, there were 90 seats where BJP and Congress fought against each other. And Congress won 52 and BJP 38. So that's the latest base, you can say. Now, out of these 75 seats, 35 seats are being fought in Vidarbha. So see, the state has 6 zones, and you can broadly divide them into 2 zones. One is economically backward zone, which is your Vidarbha, Marathwada, and large parts of North Maharashtra. They account for half of the seats. And one is a relatively well-developed economic zones, which are Mumbai, Thane, Konkan, and Western Maharashtra, which again has almost half of the seats. Now, with BJP and Congress contesting on 35 seats in Vidarbha, which is the hotbed of farmer suicides, agri-distress, and rural distress, the Congress would hope that these issues would resonate with the voters. However, BJP hopes that the Ladki Bahin Yojana and some of the doles which have been given to the youth with the apprenticeships program and the unemployment allowance, etc., somehow neutralize some of this discontent. The two parties are largely on their own in Vidarbha because the Shiv Sena and the NCP undivided do not have significant presence there. So that is where the two captains of the team, you can say, who are contesting on the highest number of seats against each other and in their respective alliances, are going to fight against each other. And that is where the destiny of this election could well be written.
All right. Tuhin Sinha, what Amitabh Tiwari just said, it's not 2019 as much. Now look at the 2024 Lok Sabha conundrum. And that makes it advantage Congress, though you'd want to hark back in hope that what happened in 29 sustains and you ride on the momentum of Haryana coming into Maharashtra.
Well, good evening, Preeti. Good evening, everybody. The perception on the ground today is that Congress over-promises and under-delivers. And that has only been corroborated by the video of Kharge ji, who's actually telling his party workers not to overpromise in Maharashtra. So I think Congress today is facing a credibility crisis, which gives us a very big edge on the ground. Every day in the last 3 months, ever since the announcement of the social welfare schemes, particularly the Ladli Bahin Yojana, situation on the ground has been changing. In fact, Vidarbha has significant number of Ladli Bahin Yojana beneficiaries. That would be a deciding factor. But also, the larger point is about our credibility. We have announced social welfare schemes to the tune of 96,000 crores in the last few months, and yet we manage all that better. Maharashtra is the number one FDI state in the country. If you go by FY, first quarter of FY25, we have announced a 10,000 crore steel plant in the heart of Gadchiroli, which was infested with Naxals until a few years back. The Vadhavan port in northern Maharashtra is another game changer. So, I think the ability to deliver on the ground is clearly what differentiates us. I will give you one indicator which will tell you how disgruntled and how flustered the Agadi today is. In the last 3 or 4 days, all they have been doing is running to the election commission with some complaint or the other. Today they have managed to get Rashmi Shukla, one of the best performing DGPs of Maharashtra, transferred. But, they don't have the courtesy to at least say that the EC is fair. The EC went by the points raised by them. In the last 3 days, Uddhav Thackeray has been cribbing of all things about lighting and fireworks in Shivaji Park, which once used to be the hub of, Shiv Sena. So this shows the level of frustration of the Agadi today. And obviously, they will blame the EVM on the day of the election results.
Matthew Anthony is also with us from the Congress. Matthew Anthony, the fact is, you might want to look back at what happened in 2024, and Amitabh Tiwari is very right, because that could very well be the new blueprint, and that would put you on an advantage. But you also then have the same blueprint of Haryana, and you know how horribly wrong you went. Why would Maharashtra be different? Because now the Bharatiya Janata Party, especially on these 75 seats, which could decide the election, is walking in with that much more confidence.
Preeti, the Haryana path we have looked into as a party, and we have made the necessary changes which is required within the party's decision making on that one. Whereas the BJP spokesperson mentioned about the achievements, I would like to ask a few questions.
Right. Matthew Anthony, can I just come in? Because, sir, I'm sorry, I know I'm cutting you short, but I'll just come in because many are still waiting. What are those changes that you've factored in? What changes has Congress made after the debacle of Haryana?
So if you look into the Congress parties and the MVA's seat sharing, it had its discussions because every party was aspiring to have more number of seats and more number of candidates. However, we have had an amicable settlement, and after the day of the nomination withdrawal, you can see there are only very few instances which can be figured out against MVA, whereas a lot of the rebels has been settled down in the state of Maharashtra. Now, coming back to the other issues which is said, I would like to ask the BJP that the Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative has said that 2.25 crores of people of Maharashtra is living in multidimensional poverty. 8,000 farmers have committed suicide till 2023, 566 till now in the district of Amravati in 2024. 815 crores from the NCDC, National Cooperative Development Corporation. A loan has been given with the Maharashtra state government with the ruling for something or the other. Now, you also see that 800 crores has also been given for beautification of Mumbai city, which has all been given without tenders to a large part of the people. Now, a lot of industries from Maharashtra and Mumbai has been taken out. The gift city was given to Gujarat, whereas, it is not given to Mumbai, which is the largest financial capital of the country. Now, where are these kind of, the law and order of the state is completely collapsed. 4 lawmakers have used firearms, and 2 former lawmakers have been killed, and 1 from the ruling alliance. Baba Siddiqui was shot broad in daylight. A ruling alliance party member. Such a kind of situation is existing in Maharashtra. Okay. What gives BJP and the Mahayuti a confidence? Because the local Maharashtrian people are really looking to kind of give a reply for backstabbing 2 local parties by the BJP.
But Matthew Anthony, I'll come back to you because the fact is, what I asked you was what changes were affected maybe in Haryana to learn a lesson. But, that aside, but the fact, many of the voters who actually support the Congress will come out and say that you have factored in and you have chronicled everything that possibly is wrong in the state of Maharashtra, nothing that is right in the Congress to take on and leverage what you see is going wrong. Anyway, I'm going to come right back. I'm going to come right back on that question. Mr. Anthony, I'm coming right back on the question, and I'll give you a chance to answer it. I want to bring in Amitabh Tiwari back. Amitabh Tiwari, one, of course, is going to be the direct fights, especially in Vidarbha, Marathwada, where the BJP faces off with the Congress. The other one, where everybody is watching very keenly, Amitabh, is the fact of independents and rebels. The last day of taking back nominations is over, Amitabh, which was the 4th. Now what? Because there are some that have been settled. There are many still in the fray. Therefore, as what many say, it's not about anything else but management. Who can manage this election better, Amitabh?
Yeah, so essentially some 11,000 people had filed nominations, 3,000 have withdrawn, and almost 2,000 were rejected. So there are still, as of now, 6,000 candidates in frame. which means 20 plus candidates per seat. This comparative number was 11 per seat in 2019. So that's the high number of individuals, smaller parties, independents, and rebels which are contesting. Now, Maharashtra always has had a tradition of voting for smaller parties and independents, around 25% vote share and 25 to 30 seats. In a scenario where we are seeing that on a national level and in many states, a bipolarization of politics, wherein Congress and BJP or India bloc and the NDA bloc are becoming the two important poles. However, as you said, in these seats, it's not about winning. Many of the parties are contesting to defeat one of the two blocks or show their importance. So what will happen is that each vote which these candidates bag will be damaging either of the parties in different seats. It will not be a uniform sort of a trend. So both the parties will get damaged. There is a higher number of rebels, as you are showing on the screen, in Mahayuti versus the MVA. MVA seems to have sorted the rebel issue a bit well compared to Mahayuti, because Mahayuti is obviously in power, and that's why we are seeing a high number of rebels, and these could in turn decide the course of the elections, as we've seen in Haryana, and they could be the kingmakers in many seats, not winning, but spoiling the chance of either of the blocks to win that seat.
And Tuhin Sinha, that brings me to the question, we'll put those graphics out again. Because yes, there are direct fights, but then there is also managing rebels and managing independents. What the Congress could not do or failed to do because of bluster in Haryana, this time around, the Aghadi seems to have done it better than the Mahayuti. At least the numbers say so in terms of settling and making rebels and independents sit.
Well, even our rebels have withdrawn from the contest, so I don't think that will be a very big factor. BJP, at the end of the day, is a family, and it is connected because of ideological reasons more than the entire Aghadi, which is there only for opportunistic reasons. My friend from the Congress party was talking about law and order situation. It's so rich of this Aghadi government, which presided over the worst Vasuli government in Maharashtra. If I remind you, a gelatin stick was placed under the building of Ambani for extortion purposes, and the person from whose garage that car was procured, he eventually died. He was murdered 1 month later, Hiren Mansu. And, in fact, the NIA team had indicted 2 officers, one of whom was Sachin Waze, one of the closest aides of Uddhav Thackeray. And they have the gall, they have the audacity to talk about law and order. So, people of Maharashtra have seen how they performed in the 2.5 years when they were in government, how we had a stay-at-home chief minister who would never be available to his own people, the very reason why a part of his party had to break away. And mind you, I'm sticking my neck out today. Because the media has failed to get most of the elections right in the last 1 year. I'm saying it with a lot of conviction that the mood on the ground had changed a month or two back. Today, we are heading towards, something like 170 to 180 seat. It could be higher.
All right, 170 to 180 seats, it could be higher. Well, that's a high count. But Mr. Antony, let me flip that question, for you, where you look at rebels. Yes, you've been able to, make the rebels sit down. The mahal, you say, is in your favor. Tuhin Sinha says, mahal badal gaya hai. But Mr. Antony, it's less about mahal and more about management, sir. And management, the BJP has done it better.
Preeti, I don't want to comment on the number of seats which BJP is claiming. Let's wait till the 23rd of November to see who's going to rule the state of Maharashtra. It is so deplorable to see the BJP spokesperson saying about Sachin Vaz. When he acted, Sachin Vaz acted independently on his own, and he has only stories to say. I have got factual information of Baba Siddiqui being shot dead of an alliance partner from the BJP and the Mahayuti government, from a gangster who is hiding in Gujarat jail, protected in Gujarat jail, and you have Nawab Malik, who's been kind of alleged to have links with Dawood Ibrahim gang, contesting under the Mahayuti. It is so shameful for the BJP person to speak like this without having any substantial proof or evidence against anybody, for that matter, just by a police officer acting independently on his own. We don't own up, the police officers. We said, no, let the law take its course. Is the courage there in the BJP to say that, let the law take its own course, when there is somebody who's claiming
it is not about that. We're talking about who will manage this election better. What is it that the Maha Vikas Aghadi has?
I was giving a rebuttal to Heen.
Make your point.
Then now I'm making the point that you have seen that, from the Haryana's lessons which we have learned, we have managed the rebels much better than the Haryana this time. So you will see the management, that it is not something for us to discuss about the management and the strategy in the national media. You will wait and see on the 23rd of this month on how we are managing this election and how we are winning this election in the 2024 Maharashtra Assembly, where Maha Vikas Aghadi will be forming the government and ruling the state of Maharashtra for the people of Maharashtra. And we don't want the GDP of Maharashtra to go down from 15.2 to a 13.3. We want the state of Maharashtra to grow. And it is all the developments in the state of Maharashtra, starting from the airports, from the Rajiv Gandhi ceiling. Everything has started during the Congress time. BJP has only changed the names. Nothing is there to their credit. That's exactly what they have done. And they have done inauguration of half-completed, partially completed projects, which is creating a lot of accidents and other things also. So let us see, let the people of Maharashtra vote to their conscience. And if they vote to their conscience, it is the MVA which is going to form the government in 2024 November.
All right. Well, let's not question the conscience. Even if somebody's conscience wants to vote for the Mahayuti, the conscience could be in place, Mr. Anthony. It's about who they choose. But Amitabh Tiwari, okay, Tuhin Sinha, you want to rebuttal quickly, sir?
I just wanted to point out, this shows how nervous the Aghadi is. They're already saying if people vote through their conscience, are they already saying that people are unscrupulous when they vote for the BJP?
Okay.
I mean, this is the attitude of the
okay,
Aghadi.
Mr. Anthony, please respond to that.
Because the state has got its own issues for the people to understand why they should vote for the MVA.
They are already running to the election commission with all kinds of frivolous complaints. And now,
allow him to answer.
They won't expect people to vote through the
Mr. Anthony.
Ashish Shelar, do you have an answer to say that Ashish Shelar has not disclosed his real estate company and sports company in his election affidavit, in his nomination? We questioned it. And we are going to take it up to the court. Ashish Shelar, who is the Bandra West MLA, as well as, the Mumbai...
You're most free to take it up to the court.
I'm going to bring in, for a final word, I want to bring in Amitabh Tiwari. Amitabh Tiwari, it's going to be a question that at least on this show you'd be asked multiple times because things change very, very quickly and it's still a long way to go to the 20th of November. But the three X factors that you're looking at that could define this election.
See, one is, of course, the Ladki Bahin Yojana is an X factor because we've seen in other states that cash transfer schemes do tend to tilt the vote in favor of the incumbent government. The next will be micromanagement because it's not only about rebel candidates. On each seat, there are three contenders, both from MVA and Mahayuti, and two people have not got tickets. So there will be internal sabotage, and vote transfer from one partner to another partner is going to be key. Whichever party does the best vote transfer without minimum leakages could have an upper hand. And the third, of course, will be the performance of other smaller parties, independents and rebels, and which parties or alliances they damage more on an overall or a net basis.
Well, Tuhin Sinha, on the issue of vote transfer, the Mahayuti got burnt where the Ajit Pawar NCP was concerned because the vote transfer didn't happen as expected.
No, the 2024 Lok Sabha elections were an exception. They managed to spread the canard that the constitution was in danger, and one lie, they will not be able to succeed with that lie again. We have a brilliant, cohesive, alliance, and the vote transfer will very much happen this time. There is complete clarity in our manifesto. In fact, we had a press conference where all the three top leaders of the alliance addressed the achievements of the government, which is something
the vote transfer where the NCP Sharad Pawar faction actually leveraged on the Samvidhan Khatre Mein Hai narrative. It actually leveraged on the fact that many thought this was an inorganic alliance.
No, that was an exception. Like I said, whatever the vote transfer did not take place then. But this time is very different. Till the end, they had so many differences in their alliance that their alliance partners, Nana Patel, would not even talk to Uddhav camp.
Okay. So Mr. Anthony, let me ask you the same question. The vote transfers might have been better where the Mahayuti was concerned. But that entire sympathy factor, which you thought you would leverage with the Uddhav Sena, didn't quite happen if you're looking at Lok Sabha as the benchmark. Eknath Shinde did very, very well.
Preeti, let me answer. It is this, that in the Lok Sabha election, yes, our major narrative was that, the constitution is in danger, and, we stand by it. In the Maharashtra elections, our narrative is that, do you want to choose somebody who has backstabbed two regional parties? And it is working. And the Maharashtrian Asmita, the Marathi Asmita is being really affected, and which has been insulted by the BJP, which is coming into the forefront to the election vote-making decision to a large extent. And that is where the vote transfers is very critical and very important for us. And it is, we are working on it, and it will definitely happen during the state elections also.
All right, the Marathi Asmita, usually it's, 6 regions and it's 6 regional elections fought where Maharashtra is concerned. Can you bundle it up under the umbrella of Marathi Asmita? Amitabh Tiwari could answer the question better as he is from Maharashtra, or at least looks at Maharashtra very, very closely. But we don't have the time, but we're going to pick it up on the next debate. Thank you for joining us.